No coffee today. Got Pepsi Max Cherry. I love this one. So, let's get straight into it because I have quite a few books to talk about. So, hello. Nice to see you again. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new, I'm Molly and I do book content here on YouTube. And today I'm coming with you with a little bit of a different video that I have been thinking of doing for a short while. And that is books to movie / TV shows, because some of them are adaptations. And these are ones I want to read / watch. One I'm not sure about watching. Depends on how much I like the book. But the rest I do want to, or I'm more likely to, because that's what I seem to like doing. I am including some books / films that I have already read or watched, but I haven't necessarily completed the book version or the film version, that sort of thing. You'll get what I mean when I get to those books. I have a mixture of series, like book series. I've got a mixture of film or TV series, a mixture of classics, and some more contemporary authors, at least, even if it's historical. Although actually I don't think any of them are historical from my modern authors. But yes. I'm not going in any particular order. However, I do have some that either I don't have physically or I have physically but I can't really get to them because they're behind a load of books. Sorry, just saw my cat. And some I have already done half or both. Like some I have read the book and watched the film also. Some I've only done one, like I've only read the book. So again, I will tell you those when I get to them. And I'm thinking I'll start with the ones I don't have physically. However, I do have all my books in order of, well, not in order, but in different piles. So I have contemporary books, I have classics that are just individual books, like they're not part of a series, or at least I'm not aware of them being part of a series. And then I have classics that are part of a series. So, all duology. One of them I'm not sure if it's only 2 books. Okay, so I'm thinking what I'll do is I'll go in order of my piles, and I did write down the books I don't have or can't get to, so I shouldn't be forgetting any books. Anyway, let's get started. So the first pile of books are the contemporary ones. So let's just start with those. Then none of the piles are in particular order. It's just I've done them in categories. So my contemporary category includes at least one book that none of you will be surprised I'm talking about, because I have recently read it. I need a short sneak peek of it, so I'm sure you all know what book I'm going to tell you first. And that is Sunrise on the Reaping by Suzanne Collins. I'm also kind of technically including the whole Hunger Games series as a whole, because I have been reading the original trilogies and then the other prequel, and then watching the films afterwards. So I was already doing that with this series. So obviously Sunrise on the Reaping is the more recent one that's going to be coming out, and obviously most recent book. So I have read this, and I think I'm looking forward to the film. And I say I think in terms of the topic, not because I don't like the book. I love the book. But yeah, the topic isn't exactly something you love, is it? Let's be honest. Even if you've not read or watched the films, if you've just heard of what they're about, you'll agree with me, I'm sure. But yeah, this is a film adaptation that I want to go and see. Then the next one is a TV show, and I think it's also a book series as well. No, I don't think. I know it's a book series. And this series is actually more recent than I thought, which is a bit crazy. But that is Murder Before Evensong by Reverend Richard Coles. This is a murder mystery. I think this counts as cozy, like a modern cozy, because it's all set in the modern day, or pretty much modern, I think. So yeah, I want to read this book. There's, as you can tell by the cover, a TV series came out last year on our Channel 5 in Britain. I don't know where you would watch it outside of the UK, but for us it's Channel 5. And I want to read this book before watching the series. And as far as I know, the series is only based on this one book. Unless, obviously, like some films or TV shows do, sometimes they do take things from other books in those book series. But as far as I know, it's only focusing on this one book. So I would like to read this book and then watch the TV show. Then the next one is also one that won't be surprising, because you all know I have finally started reading the series. Never read it, and this is one of the ones that I said I've kind of already done the book to movie, wanting to watch sort of adaptation, technically, kind of, because I watched the films before reading the books. And for those of you who have seen my previous videos talking about this book series, I have tried to read this series, but I just couldn't get into it. I don't think it was the right time. I think I was a bit too young, because they're very, for a children's book, they look very wordy and just, not in a complicated way necessarily, it just, there's a lot in each of the pages, like they're quite, I mean they're not too bad, there's worse books, but like, I don't know how to describe it. Either, basically I just couldn't get into the books. But I am reading through the Harry Potter series, and what I'm doing with each book, I am then watching the film adaptation, which I have already seen. So I do technically know what happens in the series. Obviously there are things that are not in the films, so obviously there are things that might happen, or characters you see that you don't see in the films. But yeah, I am going through this series. This book is The Goblet of Fire, which is book 4. This is the next book that I need to read. I've read up to book 3, Prisoner of Azkaban, so far, and obviously the films. But obviously those films I have seen multiple times over the years. So yeah, technically counts, but kind of not. The next ones for more contemporary books is Project Hail Mary. As you guys will have seen, it was only last month that I listened to the audiobook version of Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. And as we all know, there is the film coming out really soon, actually, in March, at least for us in the UK. I don't know when it comes out for the rest of you in America and other countries. It does vary with films, but not always. So some of them do come out at the same time. But that is obviously a book to movie adaptation that I want to go and see, because I haven't seen it yet. The next one for modern adaptations is Hamnet by Maggie O'Farrell. Again, I have already read this book. Again, it was only very recently. It was, when did it come out? I can't remember. I think it came out end of last year or early this year. I forget now. It all just, I don't know where the time goes. I don't know what time is. I have actually already seen and read the book and the film, so that one I have already completed in full. But I wanted to add it because it's a very recent read as well as watch, so I wanted to count it anyway. So those are all of my contemporaries. Let's go into my classics that are not parts of a series. So the first one is another one that is new to me, and that is Israel Rank, The Autobiography of a Criminal by Roy Horniman. This is a fiction. It's not an actual autobiography. But it's, as the title suggests, it's about a criminal. Apparently he's a serial killer. It doesn't sound great. What basically, just hear me out. It's a comedy, the book, but there's also a film coming out called How to Make a Killing. It has that one of those famous guys. I don't know. I can see his face. I can't remember his name. Anyway, I'm not seeing it because of the actor. I don't care about that. But the trailer looked really funny. It's that sort of thing that I like. The only problem is I don't know about content with the film or the book, because I've only just started the book. I'm only like 15% through it. It's a decent sized book. It's 400 pages. Well, 400 odd pages. Yeah, I'm 15% through. So I'm not that far into it. So far it is basically clean. I I don't know how similar the film is going to be to the book, because as I'm sure you can tell by the title, Israel Rank is Jewish. So I don't know how similar the film's going to be, because I'm pretty sure from the trailer that the main guy is not Jewish. So I don't know how similar the film's actually going to be to the book, but I do want to compare them because that's what I like to do. And I'm going to try and finish the book before seeing the film, but we'll see how that goes. So yeah, that is technically classic because this was written in the early 1900s. So yeah, and I've got it on my Kindle. So there it is. So there's that one. Actually, sticking with the ones I've written down, the next classic kind of goes for the whole collection, or however many books there are from this author, but initially it's Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte, kind of because of the film, but not the newest film with, no, what's her name? I'm forgetting all the names, with Jacob Elordi and, I can't remember her name, the woman who played Barbie. I know her name, I don't know what it is with names today. Anyway, I do not want to watch the film before any of you mention to me about the content. I know it's very sexual, even if there's no actual sex. It's very lustful and horny, basically. So I'm not interested in watching that adaptation, not really. The sinful part of me is, but I'm not going to. But I would like to read the original book, because I know this newest adaptation is very much not like the book. So I do want to watch a different adaptation of the book. So we'll see which one I pick for that one. If any of you have any recommendations on what you think is a pretty good adaptation of the book, then let me know. I know there's been quite a few adaptations, and they all vary in how close they are to the book. So yeah, let me know. The next classic is Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. I have technically already done this as well, like with Hamlet. I've read the book already, and I did see the most recent film adaptation as well, which is Frankenstein by Guillermo del Toro, I think is his name. I've forgotten now. But it's the one that has Oscar Isaac in it, and I don't know. It had a few famous actors. Oh, Jacob Elordi again, actually, now that I remember. He played Adam, or the monster, whatever you want to call him. So I technically have already done that as well. But maybe other adaptations I could watch too. I did like the adaptation. It's on Netflix, that version of Frankenstein. And I thought it was pretty close to the books. There were some differences, but I mean, there usually is. So I thought it was pretty good for that one. The next classic is Dracula by Bram Stoker. As you know, I've already read the book. Well, you might not know, but I've probably mentioned I have read it already. I mean, both, like with Frankenstein and Dracula, maybe I could reread them, but I'm not planning to. But I would like to see film adaptations on those. So again, any recommendations for Frankenstein or Dracula, I would like that. Because I'm happy to see other adaptations. Especially Dracula. I know there's been a few, like with Wuthering Heights, there's a few different ones of Frankenstein that aren't necessarily true to the actual story. But I'm always interested in hearing your opinions. So, let's get on to my classics that are actually physical. So, the next one is actually one I'm hoping to read this month for middle grade March, and that is A Little Princess by Frances Hodgson Burnett. This is the one I'm not sure about watching, because I remember watching it as a child, and it made me really sad. And I, like with Watership Down, if any of you know that, well, it's a book as well, but that film in particular, because I haven't read the book, I watched it and then didn't want to watch it again and was put off by it. And I felt the same about A Little Princess. Depending on if I enjoy this book enough, I would probably watch the film. I think, which one is the one I grew up with? I think it's the one probably from the 90s or early 2000s, depending on when it was made. It's probably the version I would go for, but again, open to recommendations. And also The Secret Garden as well, but I'm not as fussed about watching that, to be honest. Although I'm open to it. And again, that was like the 90s version that I saw as a kid. I know there's been a more recent one, but yeah. The 90s one is the one I remember. So the next one is also, well, it's not one that I'm not sure about, but it's one that I think I would probably rewatch because it's the sort of thing that I do. If I know there's a film or even a TV show version of a book, I am tempted to watch them, especially if they're easy to get hold of and preferably free. Although in this case, free is in quotation marks because I am paying a subscription to a streaming app that has at least one version of this book. But anyway, the next one is Peter Pan by J.M. Barrie. I've never actually read the book. I've seen a few adaptations of the films. Obviously, the Disney cartoon version. I did see Hook a long time ago, but only about once or twice. So I'm not as familiar with that one, but I do know it. And then the live-action Peter Pan that had Jason Isaacs, I think, the actor who played Lucius Malfoy. I've seen that version a few times because I had it on VHS, which is giving out my age a little bit. Not that I'm secretive about how old I am, but anyway, Peter Pan is one adaptation I would probably watch. Probably the Disney one, just because I know I can get that for free. Not sure about the others. The others might be free too. They might also be on Disney Plus, but I don't know. But this is another version of books I would read. The next one is also a book that I have actually read. I may reread it. It's definitely a book that if you've seen me talk about it before, it's definitely one that I have said is one I think should be reread pretty regularly for a Christian anyway. And that is Pilgrim's Progress by John Bunyan. It has nothing on the front, but it's on the side. There you go. And this is actually my granddad's or grandpa's copy. My grandma's first husband, my grandpa Alan. This was given to him in Christmas 1953. So I think this version is probably from the 40s or 50s. I'm not sure when it was published. But this was given to him in the early 50s. So I know there's at least one film adaptation about this. I know Kat from Cat Stories specifically has mentioned the film because there's, I think she said, a cartoon film for free on YouTube. So I would want to watch that because I'd love to see it kind of played out for me. So yeah, that's definitely one I would watch / reread. I don't know when though. I did consider it for this month for and reading the classics challenge because it's obviously a religious classic. But I'm not sure. We'll see. I did do C.S. Lewis and Mere Christianity, so I don't know. Either way, I do want to reread it, so that's fine. So this next book is one that I have technically read and seen 2, maybe 3 versions of as a film adaptation, well, / miniseries adaptation, British miniseries because it was by the BBC. But it's also one that I would probably reread, and also one I would watch other variations of, and that is Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. I got this off Amazon. That's probably why you don't recognise the picture, but I bought it because of the picture. Look at that. I really like that. And like with most different book version covers of books, I have more than one that I like the look of. But yeah, this is one I have completed in that respect with film adaptations as well. I've seen a couple. I can't remember what it was. It was one with a very famous actor. I can't remember his name, but an old actor. And also one that I saw that had Ruth Wilson and Toby Stephens, I think is his name. I can't remember. And that version was the BBC miniseries, which is my favourite version. It's one I grew up watching. It's one I saw when I was a kid, and kind of had a bit of a crush on him, the actor. So, and I think he's quite a really good imagining of Edward Rochester. So, yeah, and also Jane Eyre. I don't know how I forgot her name. Literally the titular character. Don't ask. Okay, so the next one, like with Jane Eyre, Charlotte Bronte and Emily Bronte, and also Anne Bronte, although I have no books of hers, I would like to read her books too. The next one is also just generally for this particular author, but this is a book I have and do want to read because obviously it's part of her collection of books. Excuse me, and that is Emma by Jane Austen, and I would like to read more more of Jane Austen's works. So obviously Pride and Prejudice is technically one I've already read. I listened to it on audio, but I do want to read it physically because I think that's probably the best way for me to consume classics, because most of them are very different to a more modern way of writing a book, and I think that's why I've been struggling with a few classics on audio that I've talked about, like with the Odyssey and the Iliad, Pride and Prejudice. I think those sorts of ways of storytelling from classics in particular is probably better for me to read physically / ebooks, by the way. I just mean with my eyes when I talk about physically. So yeah, Emma is one, the rest of Jane Austen's works in general, and also would like to watch adaptations of her books, or at least the ones that you can have, that we do have adaptations of. So yeah, that's that one. Then the next one is certainly a book I want to read, and if I like it, I would probably want to read more of this author's works as well. But the main thing I want to do is read North and South by Elizabeth Gaskell, and obviously watch an adaptation. I know there's BBC probably miniseries, or at least a film adaptation that has the guy who was in The Hobbit. I always forget his name. He played the Prince Dwarf. I forget his name from The Hobbit. I don't know. Anyway, I'm sure those of you who've seen the adaptation will know who I mean. I think it's him anyway. I could be wrong. Anyway, I would like to read and watch the adaptation of North and South. And if I like the book, I would also like to try more of Elizabeth Gaskell's works. She actually lived in Manchester, so that we do have her house, or one of her houses. So that's quite cool. I'd forgotten that was the case. Because I live in Manchester, in England. So yeah, that's cool. But yes. Yeah, I'm interested. Okay, so those are all of my individual books for classics, ones that aren't part of a series. Let's get into the ones that are parts of series. And one is a series I have actually completed, but I'm counting it anyway. And I'm sure if any of you know anything about my videos, I'm sure you could probably guess what this classic series is. Again, I'm not going in any particular order. A couple of these, a lot of you will be big fans of. But anyway, the first one in my pile is Little House in the Big Woods by Laura Ingalls Wilder, and basically the Little House on the Prairie book and TV series. I've read the first book on Kindle. Then I saw this recently and I was like, oh, I'll get it because I'll read it for middle grade March, forgetting Little House in the Big Woods is book 1, which I've already read. So yeah, that's on me. That's on me. But anyway, I don't mind. I enjoyed the book and it's a really nice cover. I really like that cover. So I do want to read more of the series I haven't yet, and watch the TV series that I know is very popular in America, so I would like to try that out as well, because I enjoyed the book. It's a really sweet book. Very relaxing. And despite what the cover shows, it does go through all the other seasons. It's basically a year in the woods, basically. It's a really good book. I enjoyed it. The next one is one I'm not sure about because I don't know if it's only 2 books or if there's more than one. Those of you who are bigger fans will probably tell me. And this is one I am hoping to read this month, but we'll see because it's not a priority. And that is Winnie the Pooh by A.A. Milne, this is obviously a children's classic. And I did see a few of this TV series as a child. I remember the films more because they're the ones I probably watched when I was a little bit more older. But I would like to watch this TV series and the films again, because I did really enjoy them. I could relate to multiples, although of the characters, although I loved Eeyore the most as a child, not quite sure why. With what he represents in terms of emotions, I guess. But yeah, I would like to read that and watch adaptations. This next one is one I've talked about multiple times. I've even had it on my TBR last year, at least once, maybe twice. Didn't work out, sadly, but there we go. I was also going to buddy read this with a friend who is also on BookTube, but that didn't work out either. So unfortunately, I've still not read it, and that is The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien. This is one I'm more likely to read because Lord of the Rings scares me. You all know why. Those page counts are something else. But, yeah, I want to read The Hobbit. It does go first technically anyway, or at least in the original in terms of the original trilogy. I know there's more books that are technically more prequels to the Middle-earth world, I guess, lore, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, this is the one I want to start with. So I want to read this. And like with a few of these books, I've already seen the films, the more recent films anyway. I don't know if they've done those. They probably haven't. But I don't know. I could be wrong. But knowing me, I would like to rewatch all three of the films. So yeah, that is one. And also just Lord of the Rings in general. If I like this enough, I might try the Lord of the Rings trilogy, but scared it doesn't even begin half of how I feel about it. So yeah, and obviously I would watch those adaptations, which I have also already seen. Okay, the next one is one none of you will be surprised about. It's a much-loved series, much-loved author. She is a classic author. She writes standalones. That's the word I couldn't think of. She's written standalones as well as a couple of series, actually, different ones. I want you to guess who she is / the series. I would be surprised if you didn't get it, but if you don't, that's fine, you know. There's a few that I've mentioned over the past, coming up to 2 years. I can't remember when my anniversary is. I think it's a bit later on. Anyway, yeah, I'm gonna give you, oh, there's a little sneaky peek. You can't see it yet. I want you to guess, okay? You get a point even if you just get the author or just the series. You get double points if you get both. Obviously, if you get one, you probably get both, so it's either way. And you don't win anything, I'm sorry. But I want you to guess. Okay, I'm going to wait a second and then put it in the comments if you want. Or not, you know, you don't have to, because I sometimes I don't when people say things like this. Yeah. I want you to guess what the series is and author. Yeah. So have you done it? Have you put down your guesses? Anne of Green Gables by Ella Montgomery. Is anyone surprised? No, I don't think any of you are. Even if you didn't guess it, I don't think you'd be surprised. I have finished the series. I finished it just about last year. I was a little behind right at the end, but I did finish it before 2025 finished. The Anne of Green Gables series. And in particular, I want to watch the Megan Fallows version. It's the version that I kind of remember. I don't know where I would have seen it, but I did, or at least bits of it, because I recognised the actress. So, yeah. So I definitely want to watch that. I also want to try Anne with an Eve on Netflix. But, yeah. I want to watch this, because of course I do. Look at the cover. I just want to watch the cover, never mind the actual TV show. Look at it. Well, film series. Look at that. It's gorgeous. I love this series. It's so cute. Okay. We all know that one, so I'm going to go on from there now. So this next one is a mixed bag, because this author writes a lot of different things. There's also a couple of series that focus on particular characters and what they get up to, I guess, to put it vaguely without anything like that. And I think, could this be the book one of this particular character? I'm not actually sure. I've not read from this character's perspective before. I've read a different one, and I've read one that has no particular character specific series. So yeah. But this is also just a general, I want to read this author's books, not just a particular series. So yes. Actually, yeah, no, it looks like this is the first book. Oh yeah, let's do this then. Excuse me. So yeah, the author / series / other series and books is Agatha Christie, and this book is Murder at the Vicarage. This is book one in the Miss Marple series. I've not read any Miss Marple yet. I've read a few Poirots, and I've read a couple, or one standalone mystery that was, and then there were none. So yeah, I would like to read all this author's works. I want to read all of Poirot, all of Miss Marple, all of her standalone books that don't necessarily follow a particular sleuth or detective. So yeah, and if there are any film or TV show adaptations, I would like to watch those. Obviously, there's the popular Poirot's TV series that has David Suchet in it. There's a couple of Miss Marple series as well, I remember. I can't remember which actress is the one that I remember pictures of, because I never really watched them. But then also there's individual films. I know there's a new, is it the Seven Dials in London? Yeah, the Seven Dials mystery. So I know there's a mystery that I think is on Netflix. Could be wrong, but either way it's come out. So I'd like to read the book before watching that. So I know there's lots of different versions as well, like rehashes of Poirot, Miss Marple, independent films as well. So I'd like to read all her books. So yes, that is that book / author. The next one is a series, obviously. And this one isn't a big surprise if you know I've talked about this series / author. I actually just mentioned the author earlier on in regards to another book and stuff like that. You'll know what I mean when I show you the series. I got this series secondhand, and it's the covers that I remember from when I was a child, because our teacher read, well, I think she only read one of them. I don't think she even finished the book, because that's what teachers do. They never seem to finish those books that they read to the kids in the class. I never quite understand why, but anyway. Yeah, let's show the series. So that is the Chronicles of Narnia series by C.S. Lewis. I have the whole book, whole collection, and these are the covers that I grew up with. So when I found these for decent condition in a charity shop, I had to pick them up, because look how good they look. They might not be perfect. I'm not quite sure what, the pages are a little bit yellowed in places. But these are the best I have seen, because usually they're either incomplete or they're separate, so you have to buy all the books individually, or they're just really bad condition. So this was the first collection of the full series, all together in a box, sold together, not separately, in such good condition. And I was like, I have to pick this up. You have to. And it was only like £4, I think. Yeah, £3.99. so £4, so I had to pick it up. So obviously this is a book series I want to read. And I would also like to watch the films, the ones with Emma Popplewell and Georgie, and those actors, the ones from like the early 2000s or whenever they came out. I'd like to watch the film series because I've seen the first film and I've seen bits of one of the later ones, but I wasn't actually interested. I really enjoyed the first one, but I just didn't care enough to continue the film series because most of the time I wasn't going to the cinema, so I wouldn't be seeing the films until ages after, because unlike nowadays, it takes a while till you can get them on DVD, so yeah, and my parents couldn't afford to go to the cinema all the time, and I wasn't fussed at that age. I was too young to really care that much. So yes, that was my last book series in this case. Now this is by no means all of the books. I'm sure there'll be more to come. I'm sure there probably are ones that I've missed, either because I've forgotten or I just didn't know, or they're books that I'm not too fussed about. So yeah, yeah, I just thought I'd do this for a change because it's a little bit, well, it's related to what I do, but I've not really talked about it before. What are you excited for in terms of book to movie adaptations that you know are coming out soon? Are the ones that you're really excited about? Like, are you really excited about Sunrise on the Reaping? Like, are you interested in this or in Project Hail Mary? Because I know those are the ones that are quite popular at the moment. But are there others that will hopefully be coming out soon or some other time? Any TV series that were adaptations from films? And let me know, are any of these books that you recommend to me particular adaptations of film to TV series? Let me know. And let me know which books you've seen. No? Well, not far off, I guess. But I mean, books you've read. I know most of you will have at least read the Narnia books, because I know that's very popular here on Christian BookTube. Yeah, let me know, and let me know if there's other books I've not mentioned but you also like and have adaptations of, and let me know what adaptations you like from those books. Tell me all, I would love to know. And if there's any you think I should prioritise that are not new books that are coming out, so like Sunrise and Project Hail Mary, obviously those are, coming out pretty soon, if not this month, in terms of Project Hail Mary. But are there other books that I've mentioned here that you think I should prioritise, either a series or an author or a particular book, because you think I'll really enjoy it? Now, I can't promise for this month of March, other than A Little Princess and Winnie the Pooh, because they are on my TBR for this month. But other than those, are there any that you think I should prioritise? I'm not going to count my rereads, okay? So Jane Eyre is a no, because I'm not a big rereader, although I would possibly reread this, to be fair. And also Pilgrim's Progress, I'm going to say that as well. I'm not counting these two, okay? Because they are books I have read semi-recently. I've read Jane Eyre twice. Pilgrim's Progress only once, but I read that last year. Although I did say I might reread it this year. I don't know, okay? Just, you know what, it doesn't matter. Any of the books I've mentioned, let me know. And obviously, I know Agatha Christie has written an insane amount of books. If there's any other books that you think I should read, as quite a new Agatha Christie lover, I've not read that many. But, so if there's any of her books that you think I should prioritise, let me know. And let me know if you've got any adaptations of those and your preference for those as well. But yeah, any of the other books. If you think I should prioritise one, let me know. I can't promise I'll prioritise it, but I would love to know your thoughts. You're welcome. I know, I'm terrible. I don't know what it is. Let me know if you think I should do an opposite of this. books that I think should be filmed or TV series. I would love to know if you think I should do a video on that, because there's at least 2 books that I would like. They are both middle grade, but it's fine. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be middle grade. Most of them probably will be, but let me know. I don't know how many I would have of books that I would like to see adaptations of, especially in terms of more adult books like YA or adult, just because of things like content. I mean, obviously if they're Christian books, that in theory should not matter, but let me know, because I could always do that too. So yeah, that's a lot of things to tell you, so I apologise. But basically, if there's anything you think I should prioritise, let me know, of the books that I have mentioned and have not read yet. So obviously Sunrise, I will do that, or Project Hail Mary. Jane Eyre and Pilgrim's Progress, maybe, but I can't promise. I also can't promise for the others either. But if there's anything you think I should prioritise, April onwards, because I've already got my TBR for March. But if you think there's anything I should prioritise, let me know, and I will try and do that. Again, no promises. And let me know your favourite adaptations of that book that you want me to prioritise, so then I know what you recommend, and just what you recommend anyway, you know, because I'd love to know. I don't know what's good, you see. I'm not a good judge. I just watch something and then go, oh yeah, I enjoyed that, or oh, I didn't like that as much. So there we go. Anyway, I will leave you all to it, because I am done. I'm just waffling now, as usual. I've already told you to let me know your books to movie adaptations that you want to watch / read, and let me know which ones you want me to prioritise / your personal opinions on what you think I should watch in terms of the adaptations that you think I would like, or at least that you like and recommend. Yeah, let me know, and I will see you all soon. Love you, and God bless. Bye.